I got to take a little stop here because I showed you this earlier and I want to show the people. This is when I first started playing with you. And it was probably about 1986. Because Walter and I met at Benny's Bar one night. I was playing with Sam McLean. Yeah. And you came in and everybody's heads turned. I mean, oh, everyone was going, wow, it's the Wolfman. And you came and sat in. And you and I started, it was uncanny because we started going, we were playing the same chords. Yeah. It was like we were reading each other's minds. Yeah. And then afterwards we went out and sat in the car and you said, right, listen, man, I need you to come make this little gig with me on Friday and Saturday with Johnny Adams at Dorothy's Medallion Lounge. And I was delighted. I was very excited about this. And I'll just tell you this because it's kind of funny. I was really wanted to make a good impression on you. Yeah. So I think I'll get there early. I'll get there to the gig early. You know, in New Orleans at that time, most gigs started about 10 o'clock at night. So I got there. And I didn't have a car. I had to get a taxi, and I had a Wurlitzer electric piano, and I put it in the trunk of the taxi. And I got down there at about 8 o'clock. And I walked in the door of Dorothy's Medallion Lounge, and Dorothy was there. And when you walked in this joint, it was so dark, you could hardly, it took you about half an hour for your eyes to adjust. And Dorothy's in there wearing a pair of shades. Yeah. And there was nobody in it. She said, oh, don't worry, baby, you sit down over there. They'll be here soon. So I said, all right. So I put the Wurlitzer electric piano on the stage and sat down. And they had one of those little, they had a jukebox, but they had the little panels by the bench, by the side. So I put a couple of tunes and there was a Denise LaSalle tune that was popular at the time, and that came on. Don't Mess With My Toot Toot. And that came on, and I sat there and waited, and I sat there and waited, and I sat there and waited, and I fell asleep. And I woke up after about an hour and a half, and there was still nobody in the joint. Yeah. A detail you neglected to tell me was that the gig didn't actually start till 2 o'clock in the morning. And Harold, the bass player, Harold turned up at about 1:30, and there was only about 2 people in the place. I'm sure I'm in the right joint. And he walked in with the bass, and I introduced myself. I started playing piano. So I said, all right, cool, nice to meet you. And then the drummer showed up and started setting up his drums. And then you showed up and turned up, and we started playing at 2 o'clock in the morning. And by 5 o'clock in the morning, that joint was packed. Yep. Absolutely packed. And I've just got to show people this. I don't know if you'll be able to see this. Tell me, Trish, about this.
Do it to that camera there. Let's see.
Can you see?
Let me get it. Yeah, go put it up straighter. Yeah, and now walk back a little bit. Yeah, now stand on one leg.
Can you
lift it up a little bit so you can see the bottom of it. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
The Thursday scratched out.
That was my first gig with Walter Washington. Yeah. I stole the poster off the wall in broad daylight.
Yes, Lord. Them was the days, my friend.
Man, we would play there every weekend. And like I said, the joint would be packed at 5 o'clock in the morning. And by that time, your eyes had got accustomed to the light. And, we'd finish playing at 6, and then we'd sit around for about an hour drinking, and then say our farewells, and we'd walk out, and it would be blazing sunlight, and your eyes, I felt like Dracula getting out of the coffin.
You're right about that one, bro. Definitely daylight every night.
Yeah, and by the time I got home, after the gig, it was about 10 o'clock in the morning, I went to bed.
What are some of the songs that you played on that set?
Well, we'd play a set with Johnny, but Walter would start off. And I was learning. We didn't rehearse or anything, so I was learning these songs on the gig.
You never did, huh?
We never did a single rehearsal. That was the really good training for me. And being and the keys you playing on a piano are not the same as the keys you playing on a guitar. So I was having to learn to play a lot of interesting songs in guitar keys. Yeah. And some of Walter's songs had these amazing, really quite complicated things like that. Is that the right key?
Yep. That's where it started. Yep. Those are my ideas.
I'm trying to remember some of the songs, but we'd play we'd play for like 7 or 8 tunes, and then Johnny would come up.
Yeah.
And Johnny would play Hell Yes, I Cheated.
All them bad ones.
I Won't Cry. Can you remember what else he did?
Then he ended with a spiritual.
It was spiritual. He played Stand By Me. He'd look at his clock and think, okay, I've got another 15 minutes. I'll play Stand By Me, and he would stretch it out.
Remember that night we were playing? He kept saying, cut it down, bring 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 it down. I told y'all, I said, look, bro, let's go get a drink. So, Johnny up there singing, just singing. No band. He's just singing. He looked around. Hey, man, what y'all done over there drinking? I said, you said cut it down. We couldn't cut it down no longer, so we just stopped playing.
I tell you, the other funny thing about that gig, too, was Big Linda.
Oh, Big Linda. She wanted to shake
Big
dances,
Linda
right?
was big. Linda was a big girl, and she would get changed in the ladies' restroom. And the stage in this joint is a small, tiny place, Dorothy's Medallion Lounge, right up there on Orleans Avenue, just before you get up to the bayou.
Yeah.
And
it's still there, too.
the building's still there. No, I
Yeah,
drove
the
past it the
building's
other
still
day. Yeah, that's a shame. I wish someone would open it up again.
Yeah, we thought about it.
I heard, yeah. But Linda, she would go in the ladies' restroom to get changed out of her regular clothes into nothing, basically. Got like 2 or 3 tassels.
2 pieces.
Yeah. And she would dance. Well, I think I've seen pictures before where they had a cage where she would dance. But by this point, she would just dance on the front of the stage, and she would dance in between our sets. And the stage was tiny. And you got to understand, there's Walter's guitar amp, his guitar, a bass amp, a keyboard, microphone stands, a whole set of drums on a stage the size of a matchbox.
Yep.
But to get to where she was dancing, she couldn't go out. She had to go between all the instruments. And it was a really spectacular sight to behold, because she would go through and leave a trail of destruction in her wake. With these drums all
That's just
knocked
how
over,
big she
microphone stands going everywhere, complete chaos, everything all knocked over, and there's Big Linda shaking it like there's no tomorrow, chewing gum at the same time, looking really bored, and everybody totally ignored her. She was literally the elephant in the room.
They still remember Big Linda.
Yeah. And she'd be up there just looking really bored, chewing gum, just shaking everything she's got, into looking at her watch. And I think the watch was about the only thing she had on, I think.
That's it. That's all you could say.
That was a great gig, Dorothy's Medallion Lounge.